World Liberty Financial loses $10 billion in crypto crash, calls it a minor setback. When losing enough money to buy your own small nation is just a minor setback, perhaps the only thing more inflated than crypto is corporate ego.
Israel detains 95 Palestinian medics, calls it security. In the land of contradictions, healing hands are cuffed, while the world watches in selective silence, feigning surprise at the cycle of injustice.
Brandy exits stage mid-performance, offers fans an ology instead of apology. It's a classic case of oops, I did it again, but with more vocal runs and fewer explanations. When pop stars forget their own lyrics, they make up new ones.
Mike Johnson applauds video of Trump bleep bombing protest, calls it leadership. In a world where the word coward is now synonymous with politician, it seems Johnson has mistaken sound and fury for courage. Maybe next time he'll clap for a mime.
NBA season launches at October 21st. Solves nothing.
Gavin Newsom lectures Trump who says nobody wants to hear with precision. When your truth bombs hit harder than expected, it's like watching a soap opera where the villains write their own dialogue, pure unscripted chaos.
DHS buys 2 jets for $172 million amid shutdown, calls it essential. While the rest of us are sipping instant coffee and praying our paychecks clear, DHS officials are soaring high above the budget crisis. Who needs public services when you can have first-class legroom?
ICE agent arrested in Miami claims undercover operation. When the enforcers need enforcing, maybe it's time to check who's really holding the badge.
UC San Diego rebrands Black Student Scholarship.
Trump celebrates Gaza agreement. Israel's hard right remains uncontained. Trump might be basking in applause, but the hard right in Israel is less of a political faction and more of a political wildfire. While he's taking bows, they're busy plotting their next act.
It's like the arsonist billing the fire department for water damage.
Trump colleges compact deadline nears. Schools reject federal grant strings. When schools are asked to trade their autonomy for a few extra bucks, you know the administration's idea of higher learning involves a lot more compliance and a lot less critical thinking.
When your campaign strategy is as mixed up as your ink, maybe it's time to rethink both.
When your band's name feels like a toy, it's hard to take the music seriously, even if the ideals are golden.
Heathrow fast-tracks third runway at £50 billion, calls it progress.
After attending protests, your phone might be your snitch, and the data brokers call it customer intelligence. When your smartphone is more of a whistleblower than a gadget, maybe it's time to start whispering sweet nothings to a rotary dial.
White House plans to demolish East Wing soon, claiming it's for necessary renovations. When your house of cards gets too shaky, just tear it down and call it a remodel.
Brightline train zips through South Florida, then earns nickname Death Train. When a luxury ride becomes a Grim Reaper on rails, it's hard to enjoy champagne service while your ride leaves a trail of obituaries.
Robert De Niro warns about protest fatigue, fears a Trump third term. When the godfather of cinema has to remind us to stay woke, you know the sequel is scarier than the original.
Stanford scientists grow thousands of mini human brains using food additives. When the line between gourmet and grotesque blurs, who knew the secret ingredient to understanding consciousness would be found in your pantry, right next to the MSG.
Russian drones strike UN convoy near Kherson. Military bloggers celebrate the attack as a success with viral footage. When footage of international law violations becomes a trending topic, it's less about military prowess and more about the creative rebranding of war crimes.
Trump's administration touts Bluesky Project, then turns it into a surveillance tool. When your Bluesky vision is just a drone in a pretty package, expect privacy to vanish faster than a campaign promise.
Erdogan ally urges Turkish Cypriots to merge with Turkey post-vote. When annexation dreams are dressed up as unity, sovereignty becomes a quaint notion, like a relic from a time before power grabs were as casual as brunch.
NASA seeks new partners for a moon mission as SpaceX falls behind schedule, leaving lunar dreams in limbo. When your space program starts looking like a celestial game of musical chairs, you might wonder if anyone's bringing the moon rocks or just the moonwalk.
Mike Johnson delays Adelita Grijalva's swearing in, lawsuit follows. When democracy hinges on one man's calendar, justice becomes a waiting game and the people's voice gets put on hold like a bad customer service call.
Defiant CEO warns firms on managing leveraged ETF risks as ultra-leveraged products surge and spark fresh debates on their harm. When your financial strategy is like playing Jenga with nitroglycerin, maybe it's time to rethink how much boom you want in your portfolio.
Only 10% of companies secure CI/CD pipelines and they call it innovation. When your security strategy is a copy-paste job, expect breaches to multiply like bad memes on a tech forum.
Senator Fetterman accuses Democrats of filibuster hypocrisy, slamming their sudden love for it after campaigning against it. When politicians flip faster than a gymnast on caffeine, it's proof that promises are just hurdles to vault over on the way to power.
Generative engine optimization boosts retailer traffic by 520%, but the hype is real. When algorithms become the new middlemen, expect your holiday shopping list to be filled with more glitches, fewer genuine gifts, and a side of existential dread.
Liberal leader Susan Ley faces pressure over net zero 5 months post-election defeat. When your climate policy is as clear as a coal miner's conscience, expect a few MPs to jump the fossil-fueled ship.
Only 40% of Americans have access to weight loss drugs, and Big Pharma calls it progress. When progress means only the rich can afford to shed pounds.
White House demolishes East Wing wall for Trump's $250 million ballroom. When democracy's house becomes a stage for vanity projects, it's a high-priced metaphor for who really gets served at the banquet of power.
Graham Plattner denies knowing his tattoo's Nazi symbolism, then blames Google Translate. When your excuse is more transparent than a ghost at noon, maybe it's time to rethink your life choices and your ink.
When corporations juggle billions like pocket change, it's a magic trick where the real disappearing act is the accountability for everyone else's future.
Only 3% of scientists secure research grants, and Nature calls it progress. When your chances of funding are slimmer than a hipster's jeans, maybe it's time to start crowdfunding your next groundbreaking discovery.
BNP Paribas ordered to pay millions in Sudan case, fears of costly settlement rise. When banks play blind to human rights, the cost isn't just financial, it's a moral bankruptcy that can't be bailed out.
MNTN CEO claims over half new users sign up for ads, yet ad delivery lags. When expectations are sold faster than they can be fulfilled, it's a masterclass in corporate optimism, or perhaps just another delayed disappointment.
Kenny Loggins demands Trump remove AI video using his song, but the highway to hell's already paved with deepfakes.
Trump administration pushes Arctic oil lease sale, ignoring government shutdown. When nature is just a line item, even a frozen paradise becomes a fire sale in the name of progress.
Lawyers urge ICC to probe 122 European officials, accusing them of crimes against humanity in the Mediterranean. Justice may be blind, but it seems the Mediterranean's been keeping an eye on Europe's selective compassion, where humanity is just a word until it washes ashore.
Federal officers shoot undocumented immigrant in LA, injuring 2 bystanders. When law enforcement's aim is as misguided as their policies, innocent lives are caught in the crossfire, reminding us that accountability is often a ghost.
Novo Nordisk axes 9,000 employees, then decides to replace over half its board. When the corporate guillotine swings both ways, you start to wonder if the real business model here is job insecurity and boardroom bingo.
Republicans attempt to divide Democrats over federal worker pay raises. When politicians play chess with paychecks, it's the workers who get checkmated, left wondering if their wages are just pawns in a larger game.
Anthony Albanese suggests U.S. might tweak AUKUS deal despite previous commitments. When political promises are made of rubber, every handshake becomes a potential boomerang.
Rogue black hole emits record radio blast defying cosmic norms. When even the universe's rebels scream louder than your average rock concert, you know it's time to question who's really running the show in this galaxy.
Union leader claims attacks on UK Cabinet Secretary reek of political cowardice. Critics point fingers at Chris Warmald, yet the real stink might be from those deflecting blame, trying to dodge accountability like it's a bad smell.
Heathrow, fast tracks, third runway at £50 billion, promising full benefits sooner. When your definition of benefits includes 40 years of construction noise, air pollution, and a price tag bigger than the GDP of a small country, you might be Heathrow.
Wayne Rooney claims Premier League quality but plays for DC United instead. When legends trade stadiums for nostalgia, it's like a rock star playing a dive bar and calling it a world tour.